Good morning and welcome. I am Reverend Cassandra Rae, Spiritual Director of CSL White Rock, the Center for Spiritual Living. We are a spiritual learning center located in White Rock, South Surrey, British Columbia, Canada. And I am just delighted to welcome you here today. As a spiritual learning center, we practice and teach tools for transformation in our lives, in our everyday lives, and authentic self-expression, conscious living. And that's all because we envision a world that naturally expresses love. Yeah, just breathe into that. And so wherever you are on your path today, whether you're soaring or struggling or somewhere in between, I want you to know that there is a place for you here. And I am so glad that you're here. I also want to say Happy Mother's Day. Oh, we honor all of the moms here today. And I want to just provide a little bit of extra love for all of us on Mother's Day today, because we can't all be together. And so we might be feeling a bit of that separation. And I want to just say that I welcome you and embrace you and love you for whatever is on your heart and your mind today on this day that we celebrate moms. The whole range of human emotion can be encapsulated in our relationship with mom. Oh, and so just for anyone who is feeling such joy and elation for their mom or as a mom, I want you to know that you're welcomed and embraced. And for anyone that's feeling heartbroken today, you're welcomed and embraced. For anyone who is struggling with this day, whether it has to do with your mom or not, I want you to know that you're welcomed and embraced. Wherever it is you are on your path, in your relationship with your mom, whether she's still with us in human form or not, whether you know her or not, whether you have a relationship with her or not, I just welcome you, and I welcome everything that's in your heart and mind, because I know that the source of all life is right here with us, holding us, embracing us, loving us, celebrating us, exactly where we're at. And so we breathe that in. We breathe in that loving energy of spirit that celebrates, supports, and accepts right where we're at. And just taking a moment to let that sink in, right? To feel the comfort of the embrace of spirit right where you're at. And we're going to now move into our opening song. We're going to go ahead and pause our recording for this. And so we come together today in community to love and support and be with one another, whatever happens to be going on in your life. It's quite an interesting time right now as we have this collective experience of global slowdown. And we're also exploring in this month of May, we're exploring our Dharma. And I think it's actually beautiful to be slowing down, to listen to our heart, to explore our Dharma. I want to remind you what your Dharma is. We began this conversation last week, and it comes from, Dharma is part of the yoga tradition of India. And Dharma is your unique and divine purpose. This month's book of the month teaches us how to discover and live our Dharma, and it's called The Great Work of Your Life, written by Stephen Cope. And he walks us through the Bhagavad Gita, which is a 2,000-year-old treatise on yoga and the world's greatest scripture on Dharma. And he says that Krishna, so in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is counseling Arjuna. So this is a great story, an epic tale of how Arjuna discovers how to embrace and live his Dharma. And in that conversation, we get to learn from that. And so last week, I shared with you the 4 pillars of Dharma. And I'm just going to remind them here for you. I'm actually also, for those of us joining us on Zoom today, I'm going to paste them here in the chat. Hold on one second. There we go. So these 4 pillars of Dharma. The first one is to look to your Dharma. And the second pillar is to do it full out. The third pillar, to let go of the fruits. And the fourth, to turn it over to God, to Spirit, the divine. So in this first week of May, we explored how to look to your Dharma. And now on the second week of May, we're going to be exploring how to do it full out. That's today. Do it full out. And I want to talk about something before we delve into this. Do it full out. I want to recognize that Krishna says, Krishna tells Arjuna that that you actually you don't necessarily have a choice of who you're going to be. And it's like, what? Yes, we do have a choice, right? We can do anything we set our minds to, and we know this is true. And what Krishna means is that the essence of you, your soul, who you are, the blueprint of who you are that is within you, that your Dharma is when you are living your most authentic self out loud in the world. And so when it comes to being your authentic self, you don't have a choice as to who you're going to be, because the only person you can be is your authentic self. And so this second pillar, we are delving into discovering how we can go about being our authentic self in the world. And one of the things that Krishna says is that your commitment is creative. So when you make a commitment to be your authentic self and you declare this commitment, that commitment begins to call things and people and experiences and synchronicities into your life. So this second pillar of Dharma, doing it full out, begins with your commitment, making a commitment. And if you don't necessarily know exactly what your Dharma is, you don't have that language yet, because something inside of you does know, but you might not know yet, then your commitment can be, I commit full out to knowing my Dharma. And because your Dharma is unique to you, then it becomes imperative to listen to your heart. Begin to tune out the voices from outside of you and begin to tune in inside. So your commitment is creative, and so is your action. Any action you take in support of your Dharma is also a creative power that begins to call your Dharma to you. And so Stephen Cope says, and I quote, "Acting in unity with your purpose itself creates unification. Actions that consciously support Dharma have the power to begin to gather our energy. Gather our energy. These outward actions, step by step, shape us inwardly. So find your Dharma and do it. And in the process of doing it, energy begins to gather itself into a laser beam of effectiveness." Yes. Isn't that beautiful? That your commitment and any action you take toward your Dharma gathers people to you, experiences to you, energy to you that is going to support you in taking that next step. And so in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna lays out a doctrine of unified action. And so it comes in 3 parts. I'm going to copy and paste this for y'all in Zoom as well, because it makes it easier for you to focus on what I'm saying if you can see it in front of you too. I love our community also. We're a community of note takers. So thank you for bringing your journals and pens with you today. And here's the doctrine of unified action. The first aspect is Dolly Parton's advice. Yes, Dolly Parton, the country and Western singer. She says, find out who you are and do it on purpose. That is the first aspect of unified action. I wonder if she read the Bhagavad Gita. The second aspect of unified action is unify. That's awesome. We'll talk a little bit more, learn a little bit more about that. And this third aspect of unified action is practice deliberately. So we're going to delve into each one of these a little bit today. And we're going to do so by looking toward the amazing Susan B. Anthony. So just so you know, in the Great Work of Your Life by Stephen Cope, he presents these principles, and then he tells us stories of actual people that you would know of, like Susan B. Anthony, but also everyday people like you and me. He shares these stories. And Susan B. Anthony's story actually demonstrates all 3 of the principles of unified action. Now, she was, let me check my notes here because I want to get the dates right. She was born in 1820 and she passed away in 1906. So she lived mainly in the 19th century. And she was this amazing American activist who worked tirelessly for the rights of women. And she, I want to say a little bit about the time that she lived in, because it's quite different than the times we live in now. And at the time that she was born, women were essentially considered the property of their husband or their fathers. So women couldn't own property, they couldn't make their own money, they couldn't make their own decisions, and they really, women were, you could either get married or you could be a spinster. And getting married had all of this social clout to it. And being a spinster was really like, who would want to be that? It was really looked down upon. So there was also, essentially women were financially and economically dependent upon either their husband or their family. Susan B. Anthony was, she began to notice this, well, bleep, bleep, that's me cussing. She began to notice this dynamic as a very young girl. And And she ended up really just stepping outside of the social custom of her time. And she, by the time she was like, I don't know if it was in her late teens, early 20s, she was already like, I am not going to get married. And I am going to turn being an unwed woman into something that is respectable. And so she just opted out of the social customs of the time. And she began, I think she began first as a teacher, because teachers could have some semblance of independence. And it was very, very, very soon that she then began to get involved in many different movements that ultimately, when she began to take a look at the bigger picture, she said, women need to vote. If we're going to have power, if we're going to make changes, then women need to be able to vote. And of course, we now know her as a pioneer of the women's suffrage movement. She almost single-handedly built the foundation of the movement that resulted in women in the United States being able to vote and to have the vote. So in this first unified action, Krishna advises us to choose your dharma, to make a commitment to it, and then to choose it in your little everyday choices and big life-changing choices as well. So you can begin to live your dharma right now, every time you make a choice that supports your dharma, that supports your health, well-being, your soul. And in The Great Work of Your Life, Stephen Cope says, in your choices, they create the right conditions for the blossoming of the gift. Last week, we talked about the gift, which is actually many gifts that you have inside of you that are specific to your dharma, and that you are, when you're giving them, you are living and experiencing the meaning of your life. So your choices then lead to a sense of deep meaning and purpose. So this is your charge. Create the right conditions for the blossoming of your gift. And Krishna says, actions taken in support of dharma change the self. The act of commitment itself calls forth an unseen dharma power. So every time you make a choice to move in the direction of your dharma that creates the right conditions for your gift, you are gathering inside of you a power to create. And this power that gathers inside of you, it can bring you clarity. It can bring you confidence and courage, because like Susan B. Anthony, you might be called to step outside of the status quo. Because honestly, your gift inside of you and your dharma doesn't care about the status quo. And that can be difficult, because we often care about the status quo. It can be hard to step outside of the status quo. And again, Susan B. Anthony, she lived in a time when women were not even allowed to speak publicly to a room full of men. She was kicked out of many discussions just for being a woman. Just for being a woman. She was not allowed to speak. So what did she do? She started gathering women. She's like, okay, I can't speak to this group of people. Well, I'm going to speak to women then. And she started gathering women, and she started speaking. She started to make decisions that drew this power, that gave her the courage to do something that, let me tell you, many women were not doing. It might have even been dangerous. But Susan B. Anthony made the choices that begin to gather this power that ultimately impacted us even here today. Each and every woman here today has the right to vote, in part because of Susan B. Anthony and her willingness to follow her dharma. So this second point of unified action is unify. And so Stephen Cope writes, having first named and claimed our Dharma, we next begin to systematically organize all of our life's energies around our calling. Systematically organize all of your life's energies around your calling. This is the next step. So you're claiming your Dharma, you're making a commitment to it, you're making choices that line up with it, and now you're systematically organizing your life in support of your Dharma. You are devoting yourself to it. And very simply put, unification means that everything in your life must line up what Stephen Cope calls the spine of your Dharma. Everything in your life must line up around the spine of your Dharma. I love that, because the spine is like the core part of you that enables you to sit up tall. It's like the spine of your Dharma strengthens when you devote yourself to it. And when you unify your life, systematically unify your life with your Dharma. And the thing about this particular one is that when you line up your life with your Dharma and you're saying yes to your Dharma, you are going to have to say no to things that are not your Dharma. You're going to have to say no. And you might have to say no to some really difficult, that might be really hard for you to say no. You might have to say no to people that you love and cherish. You might have to say no to opportunities that on the outside look like they would be lucrative or the best for you. But ultimately, what we find out is if we don't let the things fall away that aren't part of our Dharma, that aren't part of our authentic self, we can't ever feel that deep meaning and purpose that our Dharma brings to you. I'm just now really starting to learn this so deeply for myself, because I'm the spiritual director of CSL White Rock. It's been about 6 months now. I'm just brand new here, brand new as a minister. And I'll tell you, I have never felt the kind of meaning and purpose that I feel in this role. It blows my mind how the meaning and the purpose can simply flourish like a bamboo, right? Sometimes you got to live planting those seeds underground for years and years and years and years. Bamboo, I don't remember the exact amount of years. Maybe somebody here does and can post it in the chat. But bamboo grows underground for many years before it poof, pops up and then just grows monumentally fast. Let us be bamboo and unify our life around the spine of our Dharma. Point 3 of unified action is to practice deliberately. And Stephen Cope says, mastery is almost never the result of mere talent. It is rather the blending of the gift with a certain quality of sustained and intensive effort. A quality of effort that has now come to be called deliberate practice. So deliberate practice. This is sustained engagement at cultivating your gift, fine-tuning your gift, and not only wanting to improve your gift, but also understand your gift. Understand, improve it, keep going, fine-tuning it, and reaching more and more people in the process. And, Susan B. Anthony, when she decided, well, fine, I can't speak to men, I'm going to speak to women, and she started doing this public speaking, she ultimately claimed that as part of her Dharma. She might not have called it that, but she did at one point figure out, okay, in order to do this work, I have to be a speaker. And she didn't actually start out as that great of a speaker. She had to deliberately practice at it and learn how to bring that gift of hers alive. Because by, later on in her career, there were people who, she was just a mesmerizing speaker. Even men at the time would hear her speak and and flat out disagree with her concepts, but be so amazed at her energy, because that is what happens when we're living our Dharma. We have this energy that comes across. And in order to release that energy, release that power that you gather within you, you got to practice. You got to practice. You might be a talented something, but you're never going to bring that talent to its full fruition without practicing. So you're claiming it, committing to it, lining up your life around it, making the choices around the spine of your Dharma, and you're practicing, practicing, practicing. So I want to close here today with a quote from the great work of your life. Krishna quickly adds, "Do not worry about the outcome. Success or failure are not your concern. It's better to fail at your own Dharma than to succeed at the Dharma of another. Your task is only to bring as much life force as you can muster to the execution of your Dharma." Your Dharma. So letting go of success or failure or expectations, either the expectations of others or even yourself. Gathering your energy around your gifts, your calling, your passion, your love. I invite you to make a bold commitment to yourself this day. And so it is. Yeah, let's do a prayer treatment, affirmative prayer treatment, where we anchor ourselves in the truth that was revealed this day. I invite you to turn within, close your eyes, listen to your heart, be in this soul space, and just breathe. How good it is to remember that there is one infinite mind, one infinite intelligence, one consciousness of love that is living in, through, and as everyone and everything. This energy of life itself, the essence of the universe. It is expanding and expressing through each one. And I remember that I am one with this life, that this one infinite mind is my mind. This one infinite love is my love. Love for me, love that propels me. I am love. And it is from this place of divine connection, of divine power, this unification with divine power and presence, that I understand, that I know, that I claim for each one present here today, absolute clarity of mind and heart. I know that each one has this presence of love inside that is giving of wisdom and guidance and consciousness at each and every moment. I know that each one has gifts of Dharma that live inside the heart, that are ready, wanting to be nourished, that want to take root and grow and blossom. And so what I know of this time today is that it nourished the soul, that it called forth that which needs to be known in order to move into this state of blossoming. Just like spring, I know that the soul is ready to blossom. And so I breathe and remember and know that there is such divine wisdom and love within each one, ready and available right now to illuminate that next step. It's already clear. The next step is here, is known, and is a wonderful, amazing commitment to a life of meaning and purpose. And so I'm grateful. I'm grateful for each one present here today. I'm grateful for the gifts and the Dharma that is inside each one. And I am grateful for the mother that brought forth each one here today. And so I breathe. I breathe in the love and tenderness encapsulated by our relationship with Mom. And I surround and enfold that with such tender love, with gratitude for life itself that comes forth through the mother, through the blessed and divine mother. And I'm grateful that each human is also given this gift of mothering their own Dharma, birthing purpose through their own lives. And so I give thanks for it all. I bless it all. I bless each one here today. I bless this day, whatever it brings, knowing that God's got it, Spirit's got it. I bless this week, this life. I bless each and every one who is working toward the health and wholeness of every person on this planet. I give thanks. I give thanks for the wholeness that is right here in the heart, that is expanding and living through each and every one, and I bless it all into being. Releasing my word into that divine yes, into the very soul of the universe, I let it go, I let it be, and so it is. And so it is. I want to thank you so much for being here today. It's now time for our sacred giving. And knowing that there is an infinite flow of life and abundance, we immerse ourselves in this flow by giving consciously, generously from the heart, and also opening to receive. So as we give to where our souls are fed, we know that it is returned to us multiplied abundantly. And so I gratefully appreciate and receive your gifts, tithes, and offering this day. You can give on our website at csl-whiterock.com. It's simple, safe, and secure. You can give a one-time gift or set up a reoccurring donation. And just know that your gift of any size makes such a difference. It helps us do this work and continue to show up for you in spiritual community, nourishing the soul. Thank you. We have a few announcements for ways that you can continue to connect and grow together with us. Every Tuesday in May at 9:30 a.m., practitioner Jill Ingalls is offering a group meditation on Zoom. It's a wonderful, heartfelt way for you to check in with each other, share where you're at, and also be together in the silence. She does a reading and a guided meditation, and it's a tender place to be on a Tuesday morning at 9:30. And you can find that Zoom link on our website. Every Thursday in May at 3:30 p.m., our beloved practitioner, Tamara Rossender, is leading a guided meditation on Facebook Live. So you can join her live on Facebook, on social media, and you can contribute to this energy, this consciousness of love out loud and in the world. And what's so beautiful about both of these experiences is that we have also now created a channel on YouTube where we are capturing some of these, like our Sunday gatherings and our guided meditations, and we're posting them on YouTube so that you can go there at any time of day or night, pull it up, and it's there to support you. So I invite you to check out our YouTube channel. In fact, I have a link here too. I'm going to copy and paste it over here. I don't know if that worked actually, but you have to look up CSL White Rock on YouTube. Please subscribe. When you subscribe, it helps us reach more people, and we appreciate that. Oh, and speaking of reaching more people, I want to share with you the good news that we have over 30 people in our class that we're doing right now, Creating Through Change. We had our first meeting this last week. It was so amazing and wonderful and beautiful. It is not too late for you to jump in. This coming week, we're going to be covering sacred empowerment. We're going to learn about boundaries, setting boundaries, and we're also going to be learning about accepting ourselves and our feelings. Yeah, it's a good one. So anybody who signs up, you receive a workbook, a 90-minute live session with me. You get all of my PowerPoint slides. There's an online forum where we get to connect, and you'll get a video recording of the class for you. It's seriously super powerful, heartfelt. I'm so amazed. If you want to tap into Creating Through Change, please visit our website and register now. Yay, thanks for the thumbs up. Thank you for being here. I want to give you blessings on your week. We're going to enjoy we're going to stop the recording. Thank you for being here.